and welcome to yet another episode of Kudzi Chronicles Podcast Season 2. I am your host, Kudzaima Shaya, and our guest today is someone who's going to help you figure out who you are and also how to rock it. I think I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Pleasant viewing. My name is Mrs. Nisa Belvin, and I'm a public health specialist. I'm a lecturer, I'm a researcher, and my motivation or my passion, is around women health, mental health, sex reproductive health, non-communicable diseases, and I'm just doing my part in just making the world a better place.
We love that. Ma'am, something that you always emphasize on is knowing who you are. But I think it's something that us as students don't really know what it means. So can you please shed more light on that and also just try to tell us what it means to know who you are?
Thank you. Well, when I encourage my students to know who they are, I'm talking about identity. The question is, who are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you get up in the morning, you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see?
Yeah.
Who is Kudzai?
Yes, ma'am.
Because once you understand who you are, you will know your purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
And once you know your purpose, there's a way that it shapes your thought pattern,
Yes,
the way you act, the way you feel, the way you think, and even the way that you achieve things.
Yes.
It gives you it's more like a ladder, steps of where you want to be, because you know who you are. Take for instance, you know that you are moved or you're passionate about children. So you know that one day you want to be a pediatrician.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that entail? You work harder, you study harder, and even the friends that you choose, not everyone is going to be your friend.
Yes,
okay, but it will be people who support your purpose, people who cheer you on and tell you you can do this,
Yes.
and not friends or anyone within your circle who's going to tear you down and say, I think that dream is far-fetched, you are a dreamer, you're what. No.
Yeah.
So that is what I mean when I'm saying Kudzai, know yourself. Like, who are you? Okay, you're not just going to follow, anyhow. You know how it is, in university when your friends say, oh no, let's go partying, let's go what? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not against that. It's okay to have a little fun, but at what cost?
Yeah.
If the fun is costing your career, costing your academics, then I don't think that's a right crew for you.
True.
Because right friends are supposed to encourage and say, oh, I think now it's time to study. Maybe we can have some chill time after the exams.
Yeah.
And they work with you. They're like, no, Kudzai, that dream you're saying, I think, read this article. It might inspire you.
Yes, ma'am.
That is what entails to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you'll be able to, even define all areas of your life,
Yeah.
including who you marry.
Oh, ma'am. Ooh, I love that. I like that, ma'am. True. I really think that as students in college sometimes it's really hard to separate yourself from the others. It's really easy to just want to fit in, into the molds, into what is common.
Yeah.
And so, I really think it's important, and thank you for sharing, ma'am.
You're welcome.
My next question is, how can someone find their passions? How can someone differentiate themselves from everyone else? Because like you said, we all have different passions, we all have different likings, but how can someone use that to differentiate themselves from everyone else?
Okay, so it's not like, you sit back and say, oh, I think I'm going to be a pediatrician, or it's not guesswork.
Yeah.
Okay, it comes out from within.
Yes,
No
ma'am.
wonder in my preamble I said, once you know yourself, everything falls in place, it's defined.
Yeah.
It's like, where your identity becomes a roadmap to everything.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so you look within yourself. What is your passion? Like, what do you really enjoy in medicine?
Yeah.
That thing that, when we give you, like, even the assignments, there are those where you struggle, and there are those where, even without much reading, you have like 80% of the answers in your head, and you just need, to support it with references, because, plagiarism is a crime.
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
So that is what we're talking about. That is your passion.
Yeah.
So for example, if you love kids, like whenever that you are, let's say at a mall,
Yeah.
you see like a little child, maybe let's say they fall, and you're so moved, like you're the mother,
Yeah.
or like, oh, you want to take care of that child. that is the real you.
Yeah.
Your passion is speaking to you.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
a person like that with hard work and discipline, they might flourish
Yeah.
in a specialty like pediatrics.
Yeah.
And then there are those who are great thinkers. They are great at problem solving. They're able to look at an issue, and the way that they articulate it, they just like break down big things
Yeah.
into small steps that anyone can easily follow.
Yeah.
They can major into things like neurology, okay, because those are like complex things.
Yeah.
The brain is complicated.
It is,
Yeah.
it is.
So you look at that. You look at who you are, what you love, and where you thrive and flourish without many struggles.
I
That
like that.
is your passion.
Ooh, I like that, ma'am. I really like that. You mentioned that you are passionate about women's health.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's an experience or something that you experienced? Like, how did that start? Your passion about women's health and just women in general. Because I remember you mentioned something like, the future is female.
Yeah.
And I know that is such a deep statement. So tell us where that originated, that passion, that liking for
Thank
women.
you.
Yeah.
So, well, I've grown up in Zambia. I'm a Zambian woman. Well, growing up, I did not see, like a lot of women in positions of power.
Yeah.
Okay, like across all corporate, disciplines, whether it's the law fraternity, it's the medicine, it's journalism and whatnot. There were very, very few women in certain key prominent
Yeah.
positions of power. And that moved me. I began to wonder. I was like, why?
Yeah.
Is it that women don't do well at school, or like what exactly is the problem?
Yeah.
But looking back now, I've seen it's stemming from a culture perspective. Generally in most cultures,
Yeah.
okay, Zambian culture included.
Yeah.
A typical Zambian father would feel like educating a girl child, or she's just going to get married and start having kids. So they would rather invest so
In the
much
guy.
in the boy child, and push him. So, and generally in the world, there have been a lot of places that favor the males as compared to the females.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we love the males. We love our fathers and our brothers.
Yeah.
But there's a certain spice that a female has that
True.
the male counterpart does not.
Yes.
Just look at even what we're able to do. We're able to juggle kids, marriage, work,
Yeah.
and everything else.
Yeah.
But for the men, normally they just want to focus on one thing. So that multi-purpose skill is something that they can use.
Yeah.
So that for me, just birthed a certain love to want to see a lot of women do well, a lot of women excel.
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
helped a few of my students, my pupils, and most of them are doing well.
Yeah,
Okay, they
yeah.
graduated. One of them just recently sent me, oh, I enrolled in 2 masters. Like, she's doing 2 master programs at the same time. And I'm like, you go, girl.
Yeah.
And I'm fulfilled. Like, I find fulfillment in seeing a former student become somebody in the
Yeah.
society. They become better. They're excelling at what they're doing, their life, their career, their marriage, their home. I really love that.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I truly believe that as a woman you can have it all.
Yeah.
With discipline and hard work, you can manage. It's not easy to manage your home, like if you're married, you have
Yeah.
kids, and then your work, because both are demanding.
Yeah.
But because of the way that we are wired, our anatomy, we can successfully handle that. All that we need is proper motivation and just inspiration and guidance.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have been guided by
Yeah.
women in certain positions of power. Yeah, and I've learned a lot from them. So I am who I am today and who I'm going to be tomorrow because I am properly mentored.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
all that the girls, the girls, ladies out there need is just proper mentorship, proper motivation, and the world will be our oyster.
I love that, ma'am. And we're so grateful to have you because I feel you are that guidance for us. You are that light. Listening to you speak, it's just, you walk away from class and you're motivated, you feel empowered, you feel like you could just start a business right there. And yeah, so I really think that you are that light and we appreciate you.
I'm happy to hear that.
Ma'am, what would you tell a girl or a woman who feels like, you know what, I know I can do many things, I can do other things, but she just doesn't know where to start. She feels like she doesn't have her thing. You know how everyone has their thing.
Yeah.
Someone has figured out maybe they have a business, others do this, others do sports, but she just feels like I don't have a thing, and she doesn't know where to start, even though she has the urge, she has the motivation and the empowerment.
Okay, so what I would say is, sometimes it's okay to be confused.
Yeah.
Even I, like grew from something. I did not always know, like, okay, what to do and what not.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
It's a phase of life. But what is important is that you know that you want to do something about that.
Yeah.
So one of the simplest or easiest things that you can do is, look for somebody who looks like what you want.
I love that. Yeah.
And just have a chat with them. And, just whoever it is, like, approach them and just talk to them.
Yeah.
Oh, I love, what you do, and what would you mind just sharing a few insights of, how I can get to where you are now.
Yes, ma'am.
And you'll be amazed by, just how much people out there are ready to just, mentor, motivate, and just help one or two people.
True.
For me, it gives me great pleasure. If like Kudzai comes to my office and says, ma'am, I need this, how do I do this? How am I going to be able to balance work and marriage and what? I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that because I know that definitely when you succeed, your success is my success.
Yep.
And I'm happy, and I'm going to be like, oh, you see, Dr. Kudzai, I mentored that young
I
lady.
played a part.
Yeah. So to me, that gives me great satisfaction, and I know that I'm not the only one. There are so many, women out there who are just ready to invest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the important thing is to know that you want something,
Yeah.
and you go get it.
Yeah.
Because nothing is going to fall on your lap.
True.
Nothing.
True.
So you need to be intentional about your success. You need to be intentional about everything that you do and want in life.
Yeah.
And if you don't really know what you want to do, that is still okay. We can do baby steps,
Yeah.
one step at a time.
True.
Today you can try this. It don't work for you, try something else.
Yeah.
Until you figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have heard a quote that says, try everything until you like who you are. Right?
I love that quote too.
True, right, ma'am? Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think this will be my last question, but I want to ask you, because you mentioned marriage,
Yeah.
and when university, so there are others who are married, there are others who have
Yeah.
children, and they're also juggling school as well, and probably work, who knows.
Exactly.
So what's just a word of advice that you would give to someone who is in that situation?
Well, to everyone who's in that situation or any other situation that we can term challenging, my advice is take it slow, one day at a time. Don't look at the whole picture. That is going to overwhelm you.
Yeah.
One thing I think that can greatly motivate you is every day when you wake up, speak to yourself and say, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then just take it slow. If today there's an assignment, study for that assignment and do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forget about every other thing. Focus on what is working.
Okay.
As you continue to seek wisdom and guidance to take care of what is not working.
Yeah.
And I would be very, I would very much urge people around such a person, like if you have a friend or they're coming from home, to urge their inner circle to support them.
Yeah.
Because such a person needs a lot of support. So in whatever way that you can help, you can support, that is going to go a long way. But for the particular person going through that, I can assure you that you can do that. I have done it before myself.
Yeah.
The time that I was studying for my master's, I was already married. Okay, by then I had one child, a beautiful baby girl,
Yeah.
and then I was working full time, and I had a business. By that time, I was running it full time by myself. Okay, and my husband would chip in and all that, and then there's home.
Yeah.
So juggling school, work, business, family, that was too much. But I came up with an idea.
Yeah.
I got a little stick notebook,
Okay.
and then the one with the colors, like different types of colors. And then I got the green, pink, and yellow.
Yeah.
So what I did was, for the green, I wrote tasks every day that they must be done. They are not urgent, but it must just be done before it's 24 hours.
Okay.
I wrote them there.
Okay.
Then for the pink ones, those had some kind of deadline to eat. Maybe I need to do it before 12 o'clock or something like that. And then for the yellow ones, those were like really urgent, like the very serious ones that needed to be done on that particular day, no matter what. Okay. And I would start with the most urgent, and then end with the green card, whereby, even if I'm in my bed, I can still do it.
Yeah.
And I found that it was easier to get back because each and every day I managed my tasks. I
Yeah.
managed my tasks home, I managed my tasks at work, I managed my studies. But I had also great support from people that love me, my husband, my daughter, and my friends, everybody that is close to me. They understood like how complex my situation was, and I received great support, and I'm forever grateful. So to your friends or anybody who's like that, I think it helps to talk to your spouse or your friends or whoever that is around you, to make them understand the importance of what you are doing, because once your loved ones understand how important something is to you, they are always willing to help you. Yeah. The times that you find that your loved ones are not willing to help you, it's either they don't understand what you are doing, like they don't see the essence, the importance. So there's no need for them to waste their energy on something that they view or deem is not important. But once you make them see that this is important, you'll be amazed at how much people are ready to help.
I love that, ma'am. It's so important to have people who are supportive of you.
Exactly.
Especially when it comes to these passion projects that no one really seems, it's you who sees the vision.
Exactly.
But it's not easy for everyone else to see it the way that you see it. So it's really important to try to encourage or just try to convince the people around you that, this is really important to me and I need your support.
Yeah.
True. Ma'am, I think it would not be fair if I let you go without saying something, because you're a public health specialist. I mean, you have to say something about health.
Okay, so today I can talk about mental health, because like the month of May is a month of mental health awareness and hypertension awareness. So my message to everyone listening, everyone watching, I think it would be, it's okay to not be okay. Yeah. Everyone is going through something. You are not alone. If you find that something seems to overwhelm you, seek help. But otherwise, do not give up. I can guarantee I am going through something. She is going through something. Everyone is going through or dealing with something. And it is okay to not be okay. Yeah. So this is me, Mrs. Belvin. Thank you for watching.
Oh my goodness, ma'am. Thank you so much. This was so beautiful. I have a lot to talk about with you now. I think I'm going to call you for another episode.